Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So, reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam. First canto, 7th chapter, text number 11. Hare Gunak Shipta Mati.
Hare Gunak Shipta Matir.
Hare Krishna Yadav. Bhagavan Vadarayanihi.
Bhagavan Balarayanahi.
Adyagat Mahat Akoyanam.
Adhyagan Mahalakyanam.
Nityam Vishnu Jana Priyaham.
Nityam Vishnu Jana Priyaha. Hare Gunak Shipta Matir.
Hare Gunak Shipta Mati.
Bhagavan Balarayanahi.
Bhagavan Vadaranayi.
Adhyagan Mahalakyanam.
Adyagad Mahadakoyanam.
Nityam Vishnu Jana Priyaha.
Nityam Vishnu Jana Priyaham. Hare.
Hare.
Of Hari, the personality of Godhead.
Hare, the personality of God.
Guna,
Guna,
transcendental attribute.
transcendental attributes.
Akshipta,
Akshita,
being absorbed in.
being absorbed in.
Hare Krishna Ekanata Mataji. Mati,
Matir,
mind.
minds.
Bhagavan,
Bhagavan,
powerful.
powerful.
Badarayani,
Badarayani,
son of Vyasadeva.
son of Vyasadeva.
Adyagat,
Bhagyagat,
underwent studies.
underwent study.
Mohat,
Moha,
grades.
great.
Akyanam,
Atyanam,
narration.
narration.
Nityam,
Nityam,
regularly.
regularly.
Vishnu Jana,
Vishnu Jana,
devotees of the Lord.
devotees of the Lord.
Priyaha,
Priya,
beloved.
beloved.
Translation. Srila Shukara Goswami, son of Srila Vyasadeva, was not only transcendently powerful, but also he was himself very dear to the devotees of the Lord. As such, he underwent the study of the great narration, Srimad Bhagavatam, purported by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. According to Mayavadis Puranam, Srila Shukara Goswami was a liberated soul even within the womb of his mother. Srila Vyasadeva knew it, that a child after his birth will not stay at home, and therefore he, Vyasadeva, impressed upon him the synopsis of the Bhagavatam so that the child could be made attached to the transcendental activities of the Lord. After his birth, the child was still more educated in the subject of the Bhagavatam by recitation of the actual poems. The idea is that generally the liberated souls are attached to the feature of impersonal Brahman with monistic view of becoming one with the Supreme Whole. But by association of pure devotees like Vyasadeva, even the liberated soul also becomes attracted by the transcendental qualities of the Lord. By the mercy of Sri Narada, Srila Vyasadeva was able to narrate the great epic Srimad Bhagavatam, and by the mercy of Vyasadeva, Srila Shukara Goswami was able to catch up the import of the transcendental Bhagavatam. The transcendental qualities of the Lord are so attractive that Srila Shukara Goswami became detached from being completely absorbed in a matter of impersonal Brahman and positively took up the personal activity of the Lord. Practically, he was thrown from the impersonal conception of the Absolute, thinking with himself that he had simply wasted so much time in devoting so much valuable time in the impersonal feature of the Supreme. Or in other words, he got more realizing humor in the matter of personal feature than in the impersonal. And from that time, not only he himself became very dear to the Vishnu Jana, or to the devotees of the Lord, but also the Vishnu Jana also became very dear to him. The devotees of the Lord who do not wish to kill the individuality of the living entities and desire to become personal servitor of the Lord do not very much like the impersonalists. And similarly, the impersonalists also who desire to become one with the Supreme are unable to evaluate the devotees of the Lord. As such, from time immemorial, these two transcendental pilgrims are sometimes competitors with one another. In other words, each of them likes to keep separate from one another on account of the ultimate personal and impersonal realizations. As such, it appears that Srila Shukara Goswami also had no liking for the devotees. But since he himself became a saturated devotee, he desired always the transcendental association of the Vishnu Jana, and the Vishnu Jana also did like his association since he became a personal Bhagavat. Thus both the son and the father were completely cognizant of the transcendental knowledge in Brahman, and afterwards both of them became absorbed in a matter of personal features of the Supreme Lord. The question as to how Shukara Goswami was attracted by the narration of the Bhagavatam is thus completely answered by this shloka. Om Agyan Tirinandasya Jnana Jana Shalakayam Chakshunan Minitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaham. I was born in a darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master's divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, has opened my darkened eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto his lotus feet. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So, this is, again, the description of the relationship between Shukara Goswami and Srila Vyasadeva. Their devotional relationships. Srila Vyasadeva was the father of Shukara Goswami. So Shukara Goswami, he heard the Bhagavatam from Srila Vyasadeva. This is the principle of disciplic succession. The knowledge is passed down through disciplic succession, the succession of disciples. It is not that whimsically I manufacture some idea. Just like there are so many so-called gurus, they say that, oh, you don't have to accept anyone, any authority. You just feel it. You just feel it. You are also God. You can make your own rules. So this kind of teaching is very attractive to rascals. A rascal, who is a rascal? Rascal is someone who thinks that he is God. That is the topmost manifestation of rascaldom. We are all here because we have this foolish idea that I am the center of the creation. I am the controller. I am the enjoyer. I am the best benefactor. I am the greatest friend of all living entities. This is all illusion. Bhaktaram yagadapasam sarvalokam maheshwaram Sudam sarvabhutanam gyatmam shantim rachatim. Krishna is establishing that he is the enjoyer. Bhaktaram yagyatapasam. He is the enjoyer of your sacrifice, of your austerity, of all austerities. Actually, even if people are worshipping the demigods, they performing yagya to satisfy the demigods. Traditionally, according to the Vedic injunctions, because the Vedic injunctions are for various classes of men, it is not dogmatic. Do not misunderstand. The Vedic culture is not dogmatic. So there are prescriptions for those who are less intelligent. Krishna says those who worship demigods are less intelligent because the fruits of their worship is temporary. And in this process of worship, Lord Vishnu is worshipped first. So even when you want to worship the demigods, there is the worship of Vishnu. And Krishna says you cannot derive any benefit from the demigods unless I approve. The demigods are getting the benedictions from Krishna. From Krishna. They are not the cause. Even Lord Shiva says, I cannot give you liberation. Only if you want liberation, you must go to Vishnu or Krishna. So this is foolishness. Krishna is the enjoyer. Krishna is the supreme possessor. He owns all the money, all the property that we think that, oh, it is mine. Nothing is yours. Nothing is yours. The property is not illusion. Money is not bad. But the idea that money is mine, my house is mine, my family is mine, that is false. It's false illusion. You come to this world, you have nothing. You leave this world, you have nothing. For the time being, you're renting certain property from Krishna in exchange for service. But that service also, you do not render directly. That service is filtered through so many masters. Your original Sanatana Dharma, your original propensity to serve the Lord exclusively, is filtered by so many masters in this material world that ultimately you have nothing, no service left for Krishna. And we're thinking, oh, it's because of the boss I'm getting my money. Or it's because of the government. The government is sending me checks. I have to be obedient to the government, and so on and so on. This is illusion. This is how complex our illusion is. So complex. The genuine spiritual master doesn't say that, oh, you don't need a spiritual master. This is the contradiction. They say, you don't need a spiritual master, but at the same time, they're posing a spiritual master. They're giving you the instruction. They're giving you the instruction. You do this. Actually, what they say is that you do not accept anyone else except me. So a bona fide spiritual master is not indulging in this false humility. False humility is a great obstacle in spiritual life. He says very clearly, I am the Guru. You listen to me. You need a Guru, you need me. So sometimes this is misunderstood as pride, but it's the other way around. We are gurus on Krishna's order. Jaridako tarikao Krishna upadesh. Amara agyana guru hanatara edisha. Lord Chaitanya, who is Krishna himself, is given an open order that you all devotees, you become gurus. How? By preaching Krishna Upadesh. See, I am not the Guru, but because I repeat the message of the Supreme Guru Krishna, that is why I am Guru on his behalf. Just like the representative of the government, the police. They're not the government. They have no power. But because they serve very obediently the laws of the government, on behalf of the government, that's why they're the representative. So if you disobey the order of the police, then you are disobeying the government. You will be put in jail. So this impersonal idea that we don't need any authority means that we think that we are the authority. And if you think that you are the authority, if we come to this false conception that I am the authority, then we should analyze our life. Should analyze our life. Srila Prabhupada says that anyone who thinks that he's God, he should think like this. Why do I have a doubt that I am God? God has no doubts. If the doubt or the illusion is subjecting the so-called God, then Maya is God. And that is impossible. If Maya is God, if the illusion is God, then God is illusion. You follow? God is illusion, and it's a contradictory philosophy. If God is illusion, why do we even talk? There's no need of talking it. Everything is illusion. Then what you say also is illusion. Why should I listen to you? See, so we must have some common sense. Srila Prabhupada many times he says, Krishna consciousness is common sense. Use your common sense. If the common sense is not there, if we become irrational, then no one can help us. Hare Krishna, Anjali Prabhu. So, Srila Vyasadeva was very much anxious because he knew Shukara Goswami, his son, he will leave. Right after taking his birth, he will escape. He doesn't want to get entangled in any material attachments. This is also sometimes the impersonal attitude that we want to escape. Of course, Shukara Goswami is a highly elevated soul, but he is acting as an impersonalist. Initially, he was an impersonalist. So, Srila Vyasadeva was very anxious and he spoke the Bhagavatam to him. He was not even born. From within the womb, he was hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam. See, Shukara Goswami was so spiritually eager to hear the Bhagavatam that even from the womb, he was hearing. See, and we cannot hear even now. Everyone has a cell phone, right? You can bring the cell phone anywhere, and still we're not willing to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam. Just see the condition. So envious. People are so envious. Why should I hear about God? I am God. This is how it manifests. That original envy manifests by the hesitation to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. We hesitate. You cannot hesitate even. If you hesitate, that means you have this doubt. Maybe I am supposed to be glorified, not Krishna. And vice versa, if we do not hesitate, we wholeheartedly attend the Srimad Bhagavatam class and we hear and we discuss, we ask questions. That means we're coming out of the material conditioning, coming out of all the miseries, birth, death, old age, disease, Adi Devika, Adi Bhotika, Adi Atmika, all these threefold miseries, always torturing us. Miseries inflicted by other living entities. How much we suffer. Oh, other people, what they say, what they do to us. How much we suffer. It's unbearable sometimes. The weather also. Now we cannot go out. It's raining. How much misery, how much suffering it creates. The body also. Cancer, this, back pain, this, eye pain. We cannot see. We need to wear glasses. So much suffering. But if we hear wholeheartedly, if we take, we might not have the taste, but somehow or other, on faith, if we accept, yes, this is the process. This is the remedy. This is the medicine. You might not like the medicine. It might be bitter taste. But if you understand, oh, this will cure my disease, you will take the medicine. That is the same personality. If the patient is spoiled, oh, it is not to my liking. The medicine is too bitter. I want nice ice cream. I want nice chocolate. I want nice taste. Why are you giving me such a bitter? Then he's not serious about curing his disease. Similarly, those who are cheated by these so-called rascals, so-called gurus, rascals, Mayavadis and all kinds of cheaters who are flattering the disciple. If we ask, what is a bogus guru? What is that? Can you define? Yes, a bogus guru is looking for a customer. Always looking for the customer, how to please the customer. He's not interested in curing the customer. He is interested in getting the customer and getting money from him and sending him to hell, Narakaloka. So we must be very serious. Ultimately, it is simply a question of our desire. What type of spiritual master we end up with is the reflection of our desire. If you want to be cheated, Krishna is already preparing a very, very beautiful cheater for you. Yes, you'll be cheated very nicely. And if you're sincere, yes, Srila Prabhupada is coming to save you. Chant Hare Krishna. Prabhupada is asking everyone, Chant Hare Krishna. Like that. Even those who do not accept Prabhupada, Prabhupada is so merciful. He is distributing the knowledge. The knowledge, the Maha Mantra, everything. Everything is there. This is the mentality of a real Vaishnava. Just like a wish-fulfilling tree. A Vaishnava is compared to a wish-fulfilling tree. Whatever desire you have, he will fulfill. So Srila Vyasadeva was very eager before Shukadeva Goswami leaves. He wanted to give him synopsis. Srila Prabhupada also. There's a similar lila. Srila Prabhupada he has written the Krishna book. Krishna book is the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And he published the Krishna book by the help of the famous musician from the Beatles, the band Beatles, George Harrison. Hare Krishna, Arya. George Harrison gave $5,000 or maybe even more, 18,000 pounds or dollars for the printing of the Krishna book. The first canto of the Bhagavatam was not even printed in the US. But Prabhupada, why he gave this Krishna book? The Krishna book is the 10th canto, the most confidential. We have read this, how much it is dangerous to jump over the other cantos and indulge in the reading of Krishna's transcendental pastimes, loving pastimes, confidential pastimes in the 10th canto. Why Srila Prabhupada gave Hare Krishna, Soni Durgash Prabhu, Hari Bol. So then Prabhupada, he writes in the 8th canto or 9th canto, he says that my health is failing me. You know very well when Prabhupada says my health is failing me, what it means. It is a lila. So I am praying that I may be able to finish the Srimad Bhagavatam. But even if I do not finish, I have given the synopsis of my, in my Krishna book, the 10th canto. Because that is very, very essential. The information, the activities about God, this is very, very essential. It is so important, especially for the Western world. Because in the Western world, the name, form, activities of God have not been revealed until the arrival of Srila Prabhupada. Do you realize the importance of this great personality, Srila Prabhupada? Do you realize this? What a wonderful spiritual master we have. How much we should praise him, and how the whole world will, in due course, understand the glory of Srila Prabhupada. He is the one. He is the one who brought this very important information. Why is it important? Why is it important to know the name, pastimes, the form of God? We know it's Krishna. His name is Krishna. Venum Kvanantam Aravinda Dalai Dadaksham. All the descriptions are not manufactured, but based on the Shastric descriptions of the Vedas. Srila Prabhupada didn't come with some manufactured idea. Everything based on the authority. Although Srila Prabhupada is so elevated, he doesn't have to follow any Shastra. He is directly in connection with Krishna. Still, in order to show the example, he's always referring to the previous acharyas. To show us the example. How we should also refer to the acharyas, to the previous authorities. Non-manufactured. Manufacture you cannot. As soon as you manufacture, you're in a material world. That is the material mind. That is why we're chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. To remove the covering of the material mind. The material mind is always coming and covering the pure knowledge that is already within your heart. That is there. Have no doubts. But it is covered by so many misconceptions, so many designations. In the Narada Pancharatra, bhakti, the word bhakti, devotional service, is defined as free from any designation. Sarvapari vinimuktam tat pranate na nirmalam rishiki na rishikisha sevanam bhakti namuchyate. So if you want to become a devotee, you have to become free from all designations. All designations. The Mayavadis also, they try to be free from designations and so on. But at the same time, they're growing the biggest designation. I am God. That is the most foolish designation, most difficult to give up. So they're also not free from designations. So only a devotee. A devotee is thinking, I am a servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. That's all. No designation. I don't need to put any designation. I'm a devotee. I'm a Vaishnava. Nace Prabhu, he made this very nice meme. The Batman is slapping Robin. Robin says, I am a Vaishnava. And Batman is slapping him. You are a rascal. It is very nice meme. Very nicely illustrates how even while joining the Krishna consciousness movement, this idea of false designation comes. Of course, yes, this is our real designations. I am a devotee of Krishna. But what is a devotee? Who is a devotee? Devotee is a servant. Devotee is not a designation. I'm this, I'm that, I'm Ritvik, I'm Shmitvik, I'm Guru, I'm Ruru. These are all designations. Of course, sometimes it is necessary. We have to designate. Oh, this is a sannyasi. So we pay obeisances. This is a brahmachari. We do not tease the brahmachari. We don't speak about sex life with the brahmachari. Sometimes it is like that. Sometimes people have no culture and they bring out sexual topics while talking with a brahmachari. Don't do that. That is highly offensive. Similarly, there are designations, man, woman, and so on, so on. But if we take these designations as all in all, then we become cheated. Then we cannot understand what is devotional service. Because devotional service does not depend on any designation, on any circumstances. It is ahituki apratiyata. Savai pumsa paro dharmo yato bhakti radoksaje. Ahituki apratiyata yatma suprasidati. Only then the atma becomes prasidati. Satisfied. Fully satisfied. The soul is satisfied. You can satisfy the body. If your soul is not satisfied, you will not be happy. Brahma bhuta prasanatma na sochati na sanchati. Samasarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim lamate param. Only such a devotee can see everyone equally. When he becomes free from designation, sarva bhuteshu chatmana. in the Shiva Upanishad also. The description of a devotee is given. He sees everyone equally. This is real knowledge. Chanakya Pandit also says, one who sees one's own mother, one who sees every woman as one's own mother, one who sees the property of others as garbage he doesn't want to touch, one who sees all living entities as equal, he is a learned man. He's truly a learned man. Not necessarily that you have a big diploma from university, Harvard University and Sorbonne and this and that. If you do not see women as your mother, then you are a rascal fool number one. Because you see in a designation as a woman, man, like that. By following this culture, Vedic culture, the etiquettes, you come out of these designations. So Srila Prabhupada, why he gave this Krishna book? Because it is very important information. And there is no harm reading the 10th canto presented by the careful and patient discriminatory treatment of a Mahabhagavat Paramahamsa, Srila Prabhupada. There is no harm. You can read the Krishna book. There is no harm because Srila Prabhupada very carefully has given his explanations that will keep us safe from committing any blunders, any offenses. You see, so you don't have to be shy. Read the Krishna book. You will benefit tremendously. In one sense, this Krishna book is the topmost perfection of all knowledge. And that is the culmination of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Of course, we do not say that you don't read any other book, but just so we understand the value of the Krishna book. You see, so Prabhupada was very eager to print the Krishna book immediately, at the beginning of his mission. And historically, Srila Prabhupada did not finish the Srimad Bhagavatam, the translation. He stopped at the 13th chapter of the 10th canto. In the Krishna book, he gave a summary of the 10th canto. But then later on, in 1977, just before his physical departure, Srila Prabhupada commented on every single shloka, just like it is here. But he finished at the 13th chapter, Lord Brahma steals the coward boys. And the rest of the 10th canto, and the 11th canto, and the 12th canto remain unfinished. You see? So, this is the beauty of the Acharya, that his presentation is never unfinished. Although we might materially think, oh, he has not finished. It is never finished. Sorry, it is never unfinished because it is complete. Transcendental knowledge is complete. It is complete and perfect. Om Punam Adaha Punnamidam Punnat Punnat Udachiti Punnasya Punnamadaya Punnam Mivavashishati. So is Upanishad, invocation. Another beautiful shloka, if anybody would like to volunteer and send this shloka on the comment section so everybody can study more carefully. It's the invocation, invocation, introduction mantra to the Ishopanishad. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is complete and perfect. And because He is complete and perfect, all emanations from His energy, such as this phenomenal world, are completely equipped as a complete whole by themselves. Whatever is produced from the complete whole is also complete by itself. Yet, Krishna, the Supreme Godhead, remains the complete balance. We can apply this principle of transcendence to Krishna. We can apply it to the knowledge of Krishna as well. Because Krishna is Advayam. It is non-dual. Krishna is non-dual. He is not different from His name. He is not different from His science, from this transcendental knowledge about him. So, because the Acharya speaks pure message, unadulterated, there's not even a tinge of material sense gratification or monistic mental speculation in the narrations of a pure devotee, just like Shukara Goswami also. Because it is pure, it is Krishna himself. Krishna, the pure devotee is narrating Krishna. Krishna is manifesting in his writing, in his narration, in his vibration. This is the mystery of the disciplic succession. So, is Krishna unfinished? Is Krishna incomplete? This is by itself an impersonal idea. Krishna, we might look at Krishna and we might think, oh, well, he's just a little boy. He's unfinished. His growth is unfinished. Right? But this is a poor font of knowledge. Because Krishna doesn't have to grow up. He's complete. His transcendental form, we cannot understand how it is complete. To us, it might be incomplete. But Krishna is always complete. In his body, in his transcendental body, the whole material and spiritual universe is situated. Simultaneously, he, in his original form, Yada yada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharatam abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam sujami aham. In his original form, he descends, he enters. Just see how amazing Krishna is. We must completely give up all these material ideas about Krishna. Surrender. You have to surrender to the description. Not try to adjust to your ideas. You cannot. Frog in a well. The frog is trying to understand the expansive ocean outside of his well. Is it possible? No. He must come out and see for himself. So Krishna is always complete. The message of Krishna, this Bhagavatam, is always complete. Why? Because if you hear this Bhagavatam sincerely and attentively, you become purified. You come to the stage of perfect Krishna consciousness. And you will also be able to perceive Krishna in its completeness. And when you become the perfect devotee, then by knowing Krishna, all the knowledge is included automatically. There is a shloka like that. By knowing Krishna, all the other knowledge is automatically known. Just like if you water the root of a tree, automatically all the branches and leaves are nourished. So don't be cheated like that, it is incomplete, the knowledge is incomplete, the Bhagavatam is incomplete. It is complete provided you take up to the process. The transcendental knowledge is not like a material knowledge. Material knowledge you can understand by theoretical, mental speculation, some mental processes. Even that you should not speculate about material knowledge. But it is more or less mechanical process. Transcendental knowledge is not a mechanical process. Understanding transcendental, that is understood by realization, revelation. If you engage in service, devotional service, this knowledge becomes revealed from within the heart. It is always from within the heart. Realization is from the heart. But you must engage in the service of the Guru. Tadviri pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya uparikshanti tigyanam jnaninas tattva darshinaha. Sevaya must be there. Service. So, Srila Shukara Goswami has become a perfect devotee. And he is qualified to speak the Bhagavatam because he has become a perfect devotee. Personal Bhagavat. Early on we were reading, there is no difference between the book Bhagavat and the person Bhagavat, because the person Bhagavat lives according to the principles enunciated in the book Bhagavatam. That is why it is so beneficial to associate with such highly elevated soul. Those who make a distinction that, oh, well, you're hearing from Prabhupada, but you must understand the Sanskrit and you must understand the Bhagavatam, what's in the Shastra. You become a big Shastriji. Oh, that is nice. Your Guru says like that, but we must study the Shastra and understand the Guru through the Shastra. No, this is not the process. You cannot understand the Shastra unless you submit to the Guru. Yasyarevi para bhaktir yatarevi tada guru tasyata kajya yatam prakashanti mahatmani. By keeping firm faith in the Guru, all the purports of the Vedas are revealed. It is not that first you understand the Shastra, you cannot understand. You will be misguided. Krishna warns against this. He says in the Bhagavad Gita in the 2nd chapter, men of small intelligence, they become attracted to the flowery language of the Vedas, which recommends
elevation to heaven.
Yes, recommends activities or rituals that are meant simply for elevation to the heavenly planets where one can gratify his senses very nicely. This is not a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava doesn't want to gratify senses. He is already tired of that in the material existence. He wants to gratify Krishna's senses. Yes, that is the proper methods. How to enjoy. Enjoy through Krishna. Enjoy in Krishna consciousness. Enjoy Krishna prasadam. Not separately. Nothing separate. Similarly, speculate on how to establish Krishna's supremacy. Even the mundane speculation can be dovetailed. Nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktai varagya uchyate. Rupa Goswami gives the recommendation. Everything can be dovetailed in Krishna's service, provided we do it properly according to the instruction of the Guru. So Srila Prabhupada says that if you try to use your mental speculation, your philosophical speculation, in order to establish Krishna's supremacy, how Krishna is the Supreme Godhead, that is, even you can use your mental speculation in Krishna's service. See? So, the acceptance, our relationship with the spiritual master is of topmost importance. If the spiritual master is not bona fide, then all our knowledge of the Vedas becomes adulterated. All our processes of devotional service becomes adulterated. And we cannot reach the supreme perfection. The supreme perfection, the abode of the Lord, is perfect. Krishna is perfect. Krishna is Param Bhavam. What is that? Param Bhavam. Yeah, Param Bhavam, Param Dhamam, Pavitram. Yes, thank you. He is the supreme pure. Krishna says, I am the supreme pure. So if you want to reach Krishna, you also must be completely pure, 100%. But if your spiritual master is not a 100% pure Vaishnava, then how can you reach perfection? You become more pure than your Guru? Is that possible? If the Guru doesn't have the knowledge, how can he give you the knowledge? It is not possible. Okay, so Shukara Goswami has become personal Bhagavat, pure devotee, and he has become also dear to the devotees. The devotees, automatically. When there is Krishna, there are his devotees also. Krishna is not alone. Just like you see any picture of Krishna Krishna is never alone in that picture. It's like we have here also. There is a cow, there's a deer. These are all devotees. In the spiritual world, even the animals are devotees. So always surrounded by his devotees. King is not a king without his subjects. Right? So if one becomes a devotee, he becomes dear to the other devotees also. And similarly, he respects the other devotees. It is very important. Those who are Vaishnavas, they might dress like Vaishnavas, they might dress like devotees, but they have a great envy towards devotees. And that's how we know who is who. So be very careful about people who blaspheme devotees, who are criticizing devotees, who are trying to hamper the preaching of the devotees. These are all manifestation of envy towards Vaishnavas. These are not Vaishnavas. These are materialists in the dress of Vaishnavas. We must take shelter of real Vaishnavas. Shukara Goswami, Srila Prabhupada. These are real Vaishnavas. Okay, so any questions? Yes, Brahm supplied this shloka. Thank you so much. Yasmin vigyati sarvam ivam vigyatam bhavanti. If one knows the absolute truth, then all other things become known. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Soni Durgesh, for tagging your friends. Very appreciated. Thank you so much. Any questions, Prabhus? Do you have any questions?
I have a question just in case.
Yeah?
While we're waiting.
Yeah?
My understanding was, of course, that Mayavadis, they get liberated into Brahma-jyoti, and they're floating there with nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But Shukadeva Goswami was a liberated Mayavadi.
Yes?
And he was walking around in the world.
Yeah.
And he had relationships.
Relationships?
Yeah, he had his father, and he would walk around, people were following him.
Uh-huh.
He was liberated Mayavadi, but still he was, he wasn't just floating there in Brahma-jyoti, so how to understand?
He was not a Mayavadi. He was an impersonalist.
Uh-huh. So Brahmavadis, they don't go to Brahma-jyoti?
Yes, they do. But after they leave the body.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Yadav Prabhu has a question here. My computer is stuck, so I can't see it here on the computer. Let me try this. Okay, Yadav Prabhu is asking, is seeking pleasure from Krishna consciousness an okay thing to seek or think? Like a devotee explains that I have given up this XYZ material pleasure to get pleasure from Krishna consciousness. Yeah, we have to be a little careful. Of course, there's pleasure in Krishna consciousness, but it is not that the devotee is seeking that pleasure. That pleasure comes automatically. The devotee is focused on service. He wants to serve. He doesn't want to enjoy. He wants to serve. There was this devotee, Daruka. It is described in the Nectar of Devotion. Daruka is fanning Krishna. And while he's fanning him, he is getting into a transcendental ecstasy from that service. So he starts to faint, but just about when he is about to faint, he checks himself and he suppresses the ecstasy so he can go on executing his service. This is a devotee. We have to be very careful because the sajiyas, the cheap devotees, imposed to the devotees, they take Krishna consciousness as sense gratification. They think you must enjoy in Krishna consciousness. If you don't enjoy, then you're not practicing. You should not perform austerity because that's sometimes troublesome. You should just enjoy. So we have to be a little careful. On the other hand, Srila Prabhupada says that you can understand whether you're advancing or not by whether your greed and lust is increasing in the heart. So the mundane greed and lust are increasing because we do not derive higher taste from Krishna consciousness, from chanting and hearing, due to some misunderstanding in the philosophy, or we might have committed some offenses like that. So on the other hand, we should always analyze our consciousness. Are we satisfied? Are we advancing? Are we peaceful? Do we develop qualities of a Vaishnava? Or are we degrading? Are we thinking of materialistic ideas more and more? If that is the case, if we do not derive sufficient transcendental pleasure from service, then we should rectify. We should analyze what we're doing in our Krishna consciousness. Maybe we neglect some rule, regulation. Maybe we do not hear sufficiently. Maybe we do not engage in preaching work sufficiently. And we should rectify. So it's a good indicator. It is not that we should just follow blindly and we feel like garbage. That also, we cannot maintain such Krishna consciousness. Okay, so we have to kind of strike the balance between these two extremes. I hope that answers your question, Yadav Prabhu. Davor is asking, so being honest in Krishna consciousness means always trying to serve the spiritual master. Yes, but also you have to know how to serve the spiritual master. That is also another type of honesty. Honesty, it doesn't stop. We can always improve in our honesty more and more and more. So that is why Srila Prabhupada wrote all these books. In these books, he is explaining how to serve Krishna properly. So we must read these books, we must analyze, we must associate with the devotees to get the idea. That is honesty. And if we just take what we like and then we give up the association, that is dishonesty. We're dishonest. We know that we should study properly, we should go deeper, but we ignore that. So that is our dishonesty. Okay, hope that answer your question, Dabor. You can elaborate if you like. We have another Mataji here, Rajashri Krishna Holik. Hare Krishna Mataji. I think that's the first time you are joining us. Thank you so much. She says, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, as you said that devotees don't enjoy in Krishna consciousness. They just want to serve. But by serving Krishna, we enjoy that we're serving Him. Is this wrong? No, that is okay. Just like when you water the roots of a tree. When you water that root, the nourishment goes into the branch and the leaf and the twig and the fruit. The water goes everywhere. So similarly, when we serve Krishna, because we are part and parcel of Krishna, we're not separate from Krishna. See, we try to see in a limited way. We see, oh, this is my pleasure and this is Krishna's pleasure. But actually, for a devotee, they're one. Just like Prabhupada gives the example of a faithful wife. The faithful wife, she's trying to serve the husband very nicely. She's always thinking of the well-being of the husband, how the husband will be very pleased and satisfied. But when the husband enjoys, she also enjoys simultaneously. It is not that she is separate. Because the husband, he takes care of her. He loves her. Right? So if the husband is pleased, then automatically the wife is pleased. Similarly, if we simply try to serve Krishna, we don't have to think about personal enjoyment. It is automatically there because we are part and parcel of Krishna. So long we're in Maya, so we're in illusion, we see differently. We see, this is, I am God and Krishna is God. Krishna is my competitor. So my enjoyment and Krishna's enjoyment, they're competing with one another. When that Maya is removed, we see that when Krishna enjoys, I enjoy, my family enjoys, my society, my world, everywhere, everyone. That is Krishna consciousness. Okay, so unless there are any other questions or comments, Prabhus?
Sorry, there's just one question.
Yes?
You mentioned this concept that the spiritual master is complete.
Yeah.
So, now we often see that people sometimes read Prabhupada's books, but they get a wrong siddhanta, usually because of bad association. So is it true that by reading Prabhupada's books in a wrong association, you get a wrong idea, even though Prabhupada is complete?
Yes, just like Sanatana Goswami says that the Harikatha is great nectar, but when it is touched by the lips of a snake, that same Harikatha, same nectarian katha about Krishna turns into poison. So definitely you can misinterpret Srila Prabhupada's statements, and that has been going on. That has been going on, taken out of context, not reading properly, not reading from all angles of vision. Yes, that is very much possible. That's why good association is very, very important.
And if you haven't read Prabhupada's books, how can you know what is good association?
Well, you must be sincere. You must be ready to come out of this material existence. You know, if you still want to stay here, then you will be cheated. If you don't want to stay, if you want to practice, as Prabhupada says, professional spiritual life, sincere, honest spiritual life. Yes, I am not this body. Why should I be now interested in some hospital making or some curing the diseases or, family life or, these things are there, but this is not Krishna consciousness. We take care of that, but that is not devotional service. Devotional service is to Krishna exclusively. So one must be sincere. If he is sincere, he will never be cheated by anyone. See? You might be even reading all of Prabhupada's books still, because your attitude is wrong. You might be cheated. Even Srila Prabhupada might cheat you himself. Narada Muni was trying to cheat Dhruva Maharaj.
Right.
When Dhruva Maharaj was meditating in the forest, Narada Muni approached him and he said, "You are a little boy. Why are you doing this? Come on, go back to your mummy. And when you grow up, then I will instruct you." So Dhruva Maharaj, he refused. He said, "No. Can you tell me about Vishnu? Yes? No? If no, then get out." Dhruva Maharaj was very determined. We should be like that. Yes, I want to get out of this material existence. I want to really understand who is God, and I want to serve God and no one else. Then the Guru is there, immediately. Okay, thank you so much. Prabhus, Matajis, Grantaraj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gora Premanandi. Namo Vishnu Paraya, Krishna Vishnu Murti, Srimad Bhakti Vedanta, Samari Grama, Namaste, Saraswati, Gurabani Prachadi, Nani Vishnu, Shishuna, Hare Krishna, Bhaktanil, Haribo.